Okay, so let me get this straight. I had to come off a podcast break after giving y'all pod after pod, week after week through a whole ass pandemic. Carried y'all through to the bubble that wasn't really a bubble. Got all the way through to a Laker championship. And I felt, all right, maybe I could kick my feet up a little bit, maybe do some social media marketing and focus on my radio hits that I do and things of that nature. But I had to come off a break from doing that, sipping Mai Tais, because Sixer fans are lit about Daryl Morey. Is that really what's going on? Timeline is ablaze because of some damn Daryl Morey? Ain't that Sam Hinkie's mentor? Y'all don't know how this ends? Y'all didn't see the end of this movie the first time around with Hinkie? So you're going to double back, double down, and do it with Morey? So Lil Bro fucked up, so now you got to go get Big Bro to clean it up? Is that what Philly fans are lit for? This same Daryl Morey that traded the point fraud for Russie straight up? Then after doing that, tricked off billions of dollars in China with one tweet? And then in the middle of this past season decided, fuck it, we going small ball? And had the notion to think that PJ Tucker was a better five than Clint Capella? This is where we at, Philly? This right here, some Daryl Morey. And on top of all of that, now we're hearing there's rumors he got the Phil Jackson contract? Y'all gave mans 5 for 60? I mean, yo, look, I try not to count another man's pockets, but if you think I'm going to sit here and not roast Philly for giving Daryl Morey 5 for 60, you've been listening to the wrong podcast. I mean, I don't know how you can justify giving Daryl Morey, are you shitting me? I couldn't believe it. It's almost as if the Houston failures were all of a sudden wiped off the board. Daryl Morey resigned, a.k.a. got fired on the low, but they let him walk away with some dignity. And mind you, he gave you the lie of, I want to spend more time with his family. I want to spend more time with my family. He did that for all of a week and then ran and took the gig in Philly. So, I mean, this is what Philly is lit for. This is what they're happy for. This is what has created. I mean, look, if nothing else I've told you to this point has made you believe that fandom is a mental illness, then this has to be it. This has to be Exhibit A, Your Honor. Having the mental illness of believing in the fandom of a team that wants to distance himself from the process ever existing. No matter how much Joel tries to use the nickname as he's the process and all of that, the Philly organization as well as the fan base has tried to distance themselves from the whole trust the process thing ever happening with Sam Hinkie. So now, after all of that, forcing Hinkie out, getting a league appointed, Adam Silver had to come through, or was it? No, it was Silver. It wasn't David Stern. Silver had to come through and handpick y'all a new front office. And with that, you tried to wipe the slate clean. The process never happened. We're going to move on and forward. And then after Colangelo's wife went out here with the burner like she KD, that fell apart. And then you had Elton Brand in there, shout out to Peekskill, and he's been trying to figure it out and learn on the job. And now that it looks like you have tricked off not only all them lottery picks that Hinkie tanked for, but now the last remaining remnant of the Hinkie era, Joel Embiid, is looking to kind of be shaky in the light. You go bring in Sam Hinkie's big bro to try to get that feeling back. And the first thing all the blue check boys said, well, they must go and try to trade for James Harden. And then it was Ben for the beard, Joel for the beard. And then Philly fans started jumping out the window and saying, well, look, maybe we can get the beard without having to give up anybody. My question is this. In the year 2020, going into 2021, why would you want James Harden? And I know that's a blasphemous statement, right? This is a guy that's coming off dropping what he dropped, 34 a game or something like that last year. But I've been here. I've been at the forefront. You could go back and check the archive, scroll back. I've been asking, how much longer can Harden do this? How much longer can the beard be this kind of a bucket? But I've also been here saying he's on a decline. Because you know you're not going to get anything substantial defensively. I don't care what top 1 or 2 plays he made in the bubble where he actually showed some effort and made an impact. We know that's not him long term. He can't do that full 48. So if the beard, in my opinion, is on the decline, what makes you think adding him to the combustible mix that is the Sixers, when they went and got Doc, and Doc had to bring over Sam Cassell, and I don't know how Cassell can't get a job. I don't know how he can't get a head coaching job. It's guys like him, Earl Watson, where I don't understand how they're not head coaches. But be that as it may, you know how I feel about Doc. I don't think he's that good of a head coach. He tricked off a dynasty in Orlando, telling Tim Duncan's wife she can't ride on the PJ. So after that, I was like, all right, bro, you not seeing the large picture. And nothing from his stops with the Clippers or anywhere else has shown me that he does get the large picture. And when you're dealing with a team that has 2 combustible young stars in Embiid and Simmons, who are almost no longer that young, to keep it a buck, but we'll still put them in that category, especially Embiid. But we'll still put them in a category. Having that combustible mix of having 2 young stars in Embiid and Simmons, assuming they both remain if they don't go get James Harden. What about Doc Rivers makes you think he can figure that out? Did he figure it out in Boston? They only got that 1 chip. He went to Orlando. A lot of Grant Hill off that surgery. T-Mac. I told you what he did to Tim Duncan's wife. Did he really figure it out there in Orlando? And with the Clippers, first it was Fraud City with the point fraud, the Kia jumper, and DeAndre. Did he really figure it out there? And then they switched things up on the fly and gave him Boardman and Pandemic P. Did he really figure it out there? But now all of a sudden, Embiid and Simmons, Philly, now with Daryl Morey, he's going to figure it out. Okay. Okay. So yeah, to me, the whole deal is, why would you want James Harden? At this point in time, why would you want James Harden? This is not James Harden from 3 years ago or even 4 years ago. This is not Beard and D39 getting to the Western Conference Finals. That same James Harden doesn't exist anymore. Like, Harden clearly is declining. It's not a stark decline. It's not like he's going to be trash this year or even next year. But in terms of what you're trading for is the name. You're trading for the rep that he used to have. Right now, he's a unstoppable force at getting to the foul line. He's not an unstoppable force at getting to the rim. He's not an unstoppable three-point shooter. He's an unstoppable force at getting to the free throw line. Let me say this, and let me ask a question. And if you're a Philly fan or just a basketball fan, I think everyone should be able to answer this question. We should all have the same answer. But, fandom's a mental illness. Some of you Philly fans might go another way here. If you have to give up Ben, and I've been on the record as saying that, I would keep Ben over Joel at this point. But if you're going to trade Ben, if I gave you the option of the Beard or D-Book, where are you going? Like, we should all have the same answer, right? If I gave you James Harden or Devin Booker, who are you taking right now? Right now. Not 2-3 years from now. Right now. Who are you taking? The answer is Devin Booker. But I know there's some people that caught up in just the rapture of having a former MVP, scoring champ, all that type of stuff. Just the cachet that comes with being the Beard. It carries more weight than just what is the way to properly describe D-Book? The raw savagery offensively that D-Book can put together. What James Harden was 3 years ago, D-Book is getting to that apex very soon. If he's not there already, to keep it a buck. But if he ain't there right now, he damn sure will be there by next year or the year after. So if you have to give up a Joel or a Ben in a package, why wouldn't you hit Phoenix up instead and be like, yo, I know D-Book wants out. He got the max bag, but I know he won't stay there to get that second max. How about we just go ahead and do this already? So, if Morey's able to pull off a move like that, go getting a D-Book, who y'all know by listening to this pod I'm very high on, then maybe I'll fall back with my laughs and giggles and smirks about Daryl Morey now being entrusted to be a savior for Philly. But even if he's able to pull off a Harden for nothing type deal, it still wouldn't mean much to me. Because again, I think Harden's clearly on the decline. So to bring it all together, I'm not a fan of Daryl Morey. Still not. I don't think this really means anything. I think this is a very lateral move for Philly. You had Sam Hinkie out here copping pleas and giving all types of verbal bouquets for his mentor, Daryl Morey, but that did nothing to move me. But in the sense of, from a basketball point of view, do I feel like this moves the Sixers closer to a championship? The answer is no. It doesn't. Y'all know how I feel about front offices in general, but there are a few in this league that can shift the energy, shift a team. Daryl Morey has not shown me anything that makes me think he's one of those.